It's a Manchu. Welcome back to Minecraft Bedrock vs. Java, where I play both versions of the game and compare them. So, did a lot of mapping last time and collected a lot of resources, and as a result of that, here in the Java world, I've made some changes from the stuff that I brought back. You can see behind me with the map wall, I've converted that to jungle wood. Whoops. I've converted that to jungle wood logs. And on the other side, I have cocoa beans, and I put down a jungle tree. I've actually harvested several of those. I've made every other row of this farm carrots, so I got alternating carrot and wheat. We got some bamboo over here that's growing, and this pumpkin farm I've converted to half melons and half pumpkins. And one other thing that you might notice, there used to be a structure here. My house is gone. I tore it all down and built a new house over here. It's far larger. It's a lot more roomy and cozy than the little, trailer shack that I had before. So I'm pretty happy with what I built. It looks okay. I can never get roofs to look really good, but I think I'm pretty happy with that. It's got a nice big deck on front. I put the smelter and the automatic composter up here in front. And there's a reason why I placed it here. Also, I should note, I had this in the previous house, but I didn't mention it. I think it's a nice feature, and I don't know if a lot of people do this. But I have a pressure plate on the inside, none on the outside. So I have to manually open the door. But then I step on the pressure plate. That powers the door, and then when I step off the pressure plate, the door automatically closes behind me. So in this way, I never have to turn around and close the door. I may have to manually open it from the outside, but I never have to close it. All right, I moved all my storage into here. And something I should point out, you see here I have an ominous banner. I encountered a patrol and took out that patrol and got this ominous banner from it. And it gives me an opportunity to point out something about shields that you can't do in Bedrock Edition, you can only do in Java Edition. And that is, you can combine it with a banner. You combine a shield with any banner, and you can put some emblem on the shield. And now you see my shield has that emblem on it, which is kind of cool. And that's something it's not a feature that exists in Bedrock, which is sad. It should exist in both games, but it doesn't. Anyway, so this is my new house, and you see this little trapdoor over here? It leads to a tunnel, leads to my next project. I need a good source of experience for both worlds, and it just so happens that in the Java world I found a spider spawner in a dungeon, and in the Bedrock world I found a cave spider spawner in a mine shaft. And this is a spider spawner, so I have a path leading right to it from the house. I'd originally dug a staircase over here to the surface, but it was in the wrong direction, so it was further away from my house. Now I built it so that I can get there right from my house, which is good. My project for today is going to be to make a spider farm and a cave spider farm, so I have a good steady source of experience. And I guess the way to start that is to start digging. Okay, so first of all, a little about how these spawners work. 50% of all dungeon spawners are zombie spawners, 25% are skeleton spawners, 25% are spider spawners. A skeleton or zombie spider farm would be pretty much the same design, but spider farms are different size mob, and they can climb walls, so I have to try to account for that. Spawners break a lot of the rules about how mobs spawn, or more accurately, they have their own rules. Normally mobs spawn in areas more than 23 blocks away from the player. A spawner will spawn in mobs as long as the player is within 16 blocks of the spawner. If you move further away, the spawner goes dormant. Mobs usually need a solid block beneath them to spawn. With a spawner, mobs can spawn in mid-air. The one rule that is the same is that the light level needs to be 7 or less for mobs to spawn. If I place torches on the spawner and around the room, the light level will be too high for mobs to spawn, and I can work in the area around the spawner without interruptions. Torches produce a light level of 14, which drops by 1 every block. This means 1 torch on the spawner and 1 on each of the 4 walls should light up the area well enough. In Java Edition, the spawner can spawn in mobs anywhere in a 9x3x9 box centered on the spawner. In Bedrock Edition, the spawning area is a diamond shape around the spawner up to 4 blocks taxi cab distance from the spawner. So if I drew it out, it would look like this. This is some technical detail that won't really make any difference for the build I'm making. I'm going to open up an area big enough for the Java Edition spawning area, which will also be more than big enough for the Bedrock version. The only reason it's relevant is that for a Bedrock Edition spawner, a single torch on the spawner is enough to prevent mobs from spawning. In the Java Edition, you would need to make sure the corners of the area are lit as well. I'm going to place these blocks directly above the spawner. The reason I do that is if a spider was to spawn directly above the spawner, it could just sit on the spawner and take up the mob cap and just never leave. And that's a problem. So I need to make sure nothing spawns directly above the spawner. So this is going to be the back of the farm, and I'm going to push the spiders over this direction. I want to dig down 3 blocks. It might be tempting as you dig down to place torches further down and get rid of the ones up higher. Don't do that. Like I said, the spawn area in Java Edition is 9x3x9, so it's 1 block above or below where the spawner is. You see these planks I built here showing the Bedrock Edition spawn area. This is the bottom level of where the mobs will spawn at. That's the level you need to have lit up, not the floor down here, because the spiders aren't going to spawn down here. The spawner has a separate mod cap from the general cave mob cap. If there are 6 mobs of the spawner's type, so 6 spiders in this case, within a 9x9x9 area of the spawner in Java Edition, or a 16x10x16 area in the Bedrock Edition around the spawner, it will not spawn in more mobs. For that reason, it's important to move the mobs out of the area near the spawner as quickly as you can. So you want to move the mobs to a kill trap that is far enough away from the spawner that they don't take up the spawner's mob cap, but close enough that the spawner is still within 16 blocks from the player. Alright, so I'm going to place a bucket of water here in this corner, and another bucket here in this corner. I actually had to walk all the way back up to the surface to get the other bucket of water. I haven't bothered to put down an infinite water source down here because that's the only water I'm going to need. And before I go any further, I want to do something with the ceiling. This water is going to push the spiders up to this wall and then up in through a 3x3 area here. But there's the potential that they'll hit this wall and then climb up to the ceiling, and I need to do something about that. Oh, you know what? I ain't gonna need an infinite water source after all. Alright, we'll take care of that. Dig up a space here 2 blocks high. Now I'm going to place water sources all up above. So now, at least in theory, I don't know how well this is going to work, but it's a theory I have. In theory, the spiders will climb up the wall, up through these fence gates, and get into the water above. And they'll just hang up here and drown. Now, I'm going to dig out all the way to the edge of where that water is. Block wide area here. Okay. Starting to come together now. Now I'm going to dig out one block on the end here, all the way. Go. Now it should create a nice water flow that leads down to here. Perfect. Okay. This is where I'm going to have... This is where I'm going to lead the spiders to kill them, right here. I want to put hoppers right on this end here. Hopper there. Okay. I think we can safely fill in the infinite water source. Don't need any more. I do need a chest right there. Need a chest right there. There we go. Everything should be feeding into that chest. I drop stuff into here, or here, ends up in the chest. Good. Okay. Put slabs here. Those slabs here. And then trapdoors on top of that. And then a set of trapdoors on top of that. Boy, it looks like the spiders can get out there, but I'm pretty sure they can't. I guess I'll find out when I activate this thing. That looks like it. It's done. Now all I need to do is take out the torches and get out of there before the spiders take me out. Let's see how to do that. See if we can pull this off without getting our butt kicked. Wait, is there a torch on that side? Yeah, I need to take that out. It's getting dark in here. Yeah, I already got some spiders spawning because the corner's not lit. Sure I'm not missing anything. I think that's it. Okay. And there are the spiders. Oh, shoot, I missed a torch right there. I gotta take that out. There we go. And indeed, the spiders can't get to me here. Okay. I'm gonna have to move the lights a little further back so the central room is definitely dark enough. But otherwise, I think that works. Didn't get much loot from that yet. Just a string. But I'll work on that. Yeah, that's looking good. Alright. We need to expand this area a little bit and add a few things to the room. And then we'll be set. Alright. I think it's all set. So I moved my enchanting table and set up down here. So I can enchant stuff right at this station here. Anvil and grindstone there. It's a collection for all the stuff. I found that the spiders tend to climb up to the ceiling, so that's why I put these steps in here so I can easily reach them. But it supplies a nice steady amount of spiders that I can get experience from. It's beautiful. If I was going to make something like this in Bedrock Edition, and I'm going to make a cave spider spawner next. The only change that you need to make for a spawner like this is, again, because of the difference in the mob cap area between Java Edition and Bedrock Edition. In Java Edition, essentially, if I move them out of that chamber where they're spawning in, that's good enough to get them out of the mob cap area. For Bedrock, it's a larger area. It's 9 by 9 by 9 in Java Edition, 16 by 10 by 16 in Bedrock Edition. So I'd have to move the mobs at least, well, more than 8 blocks away from the spawner so that they won't take up the mob cap. And accumulate some stuff, getting a lot of spiders. If I AFK here long enough, there'll be plenty of spiders in here. So that's it. It's done. And I can collect the experience. And now I'm back in the Bedrock world. Since I haven't died yet in the Bedrock world, I've died like 3 times in the Java world. I haven't died in the Bedrock world, so I've been able to keep a lot of levels and be able to use them to make some enchantments already, like this Silk Touch Axe. And I'm actually going to use that Silk Touch Axe to collect a little bit of ice. Am I going to need that for the farm? I don't need it, but it'll be a little nice to have. So I'm going to collect a little bit of ice. Otherwise, I think I should have everything I need. It's cool that ice is a renewable resource. Alright, that's more than enough ice for now. Now let me head out to the cave spider spawner and make a cave spider farm. I made a little pathway over to where it is. Put up some, lanterns to light the way. And hopefully when it snows, the snow isn't going to cover this path. I hope it won't. The spawner is right down here. And there it is. Okay, there's a lot of space out here, but I need to dig out the same area that I did for the spider spawner in the Java world. It's pretty much going to be the same design, except for the kill trap area. The difference with cave spiders is they're smaller. They can fit into very tight spaces. 1 block wide and half a block tall, they can fit through that opening. So I need to make the area where I collect and kill all the cave spiders a little bit differently. Otherwise, it's going to be the same. I dig out an area 4 blocks to either side of the spawner. All right. And I have to say, with a Diamond Efficiency 4 pickaxe, this went pretty quick. Dug out the area that I need. Now, you may be wondering why I have these weird chiseled stone blocks around here. That's because not far out here, in fact, I dig this out, there's mineshaft out there. And I want it to be obvious from the other side that this is where the spider spawner is. So I want an obvious block that I can distinguish as, yeah, that's where the spider spawner is, don't dig in there. Normally people will tell you that you have to light up the caves around the spawner to maximize the efficiency of spawner. I don't think that's necessarily true in this case. As I mentioned earlier, the mob spawner has its own mob cap that's separate from the cave mob cap. And it only counts mobs of the type of the spawner. In this case, it would be cave spiders within a certain area around the spawner. And in the case of the Bedrock world, a 16 by 16 by 10 by 16 area, which is still a bit larger of an area. But the issue is that the only way cave spiders exist is from a cave spider spawner. They don't naturally spawn otherwise. So it doesn't matter what kind of mobs spawn in these caves around here outside, even though it's pretty well lit up anyway. It doesn't matter what kind of mobs spawn out there. They're not going to count for this cave spider spawner. It will still spawn in cave spiders, no matter how many other mobs are out here, because they're not going to be other cave spiders anyway. Okay, this is the part where I have to differentiate a little bit. I have to go do things a little bit differently from what I did. Wait a minute. I'm going to be fancy with these ice blocks and use them for my water sources here. There we go. Not a huge deal. It will matter more when I do like big builds that need lots of water sources in them rather than just like a couple. It'll be nice to use ice blocks rather than schlepping back and forth with buckets. For this build, it's not all that significant. Okay. All right, so the trick here is, the spawner's here. I need to be more than 8 blocks away where the cave spiders end up. So let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to lure the cave spiders beyond that point. I have enough ice to make 3 packed ice. I'm not sure if this is going to matter or not, but we'll try it. All right. So let's dig this area out. Here and here. Yeah, okay, that works. And then, no, that's wrong. Dig that out. Put the packed ice there. I don't know if that's going to matter or not. Okay. Replace 3 walls here. Slabs on top of the hoppers. And water sources here. Now I want to fill all this in. then trapdoors here? I believe that's correct. The only issue I have is this is a very tight space. I need to open up a little bit. Alright, I think that should work. And all I have to do is put the lights out and see if the cave spiders end up getting down in there. I'm thinking that's going to be good. Now, how do I get at the lights? Maybe this way? Can I reach it from here? I think the only place there's lights is right there, so... There they come. My access point. Alright. I think it's working. Let's see if they showed up down here. Yep. It's great that this sword has looting, but it also has knockback too, so that's kind of a problem. I'm not sure how fast the spiders come in here. Let me just AFK here for a while and see if I get more spiders. Well, I've been AFK here for about 5 minutes, and I'm seeing an issue here. It's working, don't get me wrong, this is working, but I'm not sure I'm actually getting the cave spiders far enough away from the spawner to allow more to spawn in, because I should be getting more than 6 cave spawners piling up here. It may still be working, but the issue is that I think they're getting too jammed up here, and there's not enough room on this slab for them. So the cave spiders further back are actually stuck in the water. They're stuck in the water stream and they drown in there. So this actually works as a totally AFK spot, actually. Not very efficiently, but... yeah, I'm getting some string and some spider eyes just from sitting here and not attacking them. Also collecting a healthy amount of experience there. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. And a really healthy amount of strength because I have looting 3. Yeah, the knockback 2 is actually hurting me because it's just pushing them away. But yeah, it's not a terrible farm. It's not bad at all. If I don't sound that enthusiastic, it's because now that I've made this farm, I may not use it much, honestly. I may not use it that much because I have an even better experience farm that I can make in the Bedrock world. It's something that only works in Bedrock. It will not work in Java, but it's pretty cool. And I'm going to show that off next time. I think I did a pretty good job with this farm. I'm pretty happy with it. But like I said, the Bedrock world, I got a better one. I got a better experience farm. It's going to give me just game-breaking amounts of experience. It's going to be awesome. I'll show that game-breaking experience farm next time on Amon Chooses Minecraft, Java versus Bedrock.